If you're looking to buy a house or an apartment in Denmark, in this video I'll tell you everything you need to know about how you go and then search and find again this dream place. This is just the top of the iceberg. There's a link down in the video description to a 40-page free guide where basically I go into all the points here in a lot more detail. That said, what you're gonna do now is just go into the two websites I recommend most people to use to look for places, so that is Boliga and Boligsiden, and just go together looking through different properties and see what they have. And for example, share what I have myself looked now for multiple years. So that said, we have Boliga and Boligsiden. Those are the two websites I have used myself when looking for properties. Both of them have their own strengths and weaknesses, but at the end of the day, what they do is that they take all the listings from all the real estate companies and just put them into nice maps and nice lists, and layer on that a lot of more information that will actually be useful for you when again making your own house purchase. What I'm gonna do now in the video is just basically explain you a little bit about how to use these websites and then tell you what I look myself when finding a house, which is I think quite interesting for some of you as well. So for example, I'll use now Boligsiden, which has a bit of a nicer interface. Both of them are pretty good, but for example, we can use this one now. And when you click on Kort, you will see the whole map of Denmark. I'll just zoom in to Copenhagen because that's where I live and I know the best. And first thing I want to highlight is that this will show you all types of properties. Villa is what we normally would call a house. Ejerlejlighed is what we would normally call an apartment. And Rækkehus is these terrace houses. Everything else I'll leave out for now, for reference, and there are also specific types of apartments that are common in Denmark, and fritidsboligs are the summer houses. For now, we're just gonna look into houses, apartments, and Rækkehus, which are the most common. Then you have other filters you could use because I'm gonna see here, there's a lot of properties. And then what I look myself when it comes to houses is, you'll see a filter here, but I'll tell you what I look myself, and then we can do this exercise together. I think it's crucial that you have a good energy mark, so I'll just put at least C. The difference between a G and an A energy mark can mean, depending on the size of the apartment, over 100,000 krona a year in heating costs. So for reference, if you have a energy mark B or A house, especially if you have an A, you might not need to put on the heater almost at all in winter, which, with energy prices have gone up, it's gonna save you a lot of money. So normally I'm kind of keen on having good energy mark. I like places that have been built over the last, for example, let's put 1995, over the last 30 years, not more than that, for multiple reasons. But for example, if you get a place that was built after 1992, you can rent it without any rent control rules or whatsoever that would impact you a lot. So that's nice to have. And then of course, the construction is going to be newer, everything is going to break less, most likely, hopefully. So that's something I like to look into, which limits you to certain areas of the city, because if you go to the center of the Copenhagen, there's not a lot of places built recently, but again, still enough. For example, here in all the Nordhavn area, and you can also have in the Karlsbergbyen, Islandsbrygge, Sydhavn, in Nama, so options are there. And then some more things as well that I like to look is, okay, the size of the apartment. Here is the sort of cell, how big are we talking about? So for example, I would like to see 100 square meters plus. You might not need so much, but just to know. And then how much are you willing to pay? Because I'm sure there are some of these houses here in Hellerup might be nice, but I bet you here, this one, 30 million, no. It's a bit of out of access for a lot of us watching this video. Okay, that said, some more filters that I think are important as well. What is the specific floor the house or property is? For example, if you use an apartment, I would prefer normally that it's a second floor plus. The reason for this is that ground floor apartments, there are some break-ins in Denmark, not a lot, but it's better to avoid that. And when it comes to for example, privacy, it's better to live a bit further up. You also get a bit more sunshine. Might not be a biggest deal for everyone, but at least for me it's nice. And then you can also see, for example, only the apartments that have been on project apartments, which is they're being built at the moment, so you can see that. You can add a free text if you want to something specific, and that's a good starting point. What you also have in Boliga that I use a lot as well is that you can put here how much is the Eignargift, which is the ownership expenses for the specific house or property, and that is kind of a catch-all metric for how much are the taxes, how much are the payments for ownership association for apartments and so on. So that's, yeah, that saves some money, or that's a good thing to filter through as well. But let's go with this, and then, like, for example, I'll show you now, just checking on some apartments here, for example, in Nordhavn. Like when you click here, what can you see in this setup, right? So here I have an apartment in Nordhavn that has been on sale now for 7.195 in krona. And one thing that you can see here that you don't see in Boligsiden, but then you can see in Boliga, which is actually very important. And then we'll just filter in Boliga too, you can see that there's and I wrote it down in the guide as well, there's a difference between real square meters and the fake square meters. In Denmark, the square meters that you see here, those are not the real size of the apartment. The real size of the apartment will be another metric called, we'll see here, whenever this decides to work. So let's take, this is different apartment, but you'll get the point. Bolig Storesel, actually this is a bad example, so sorry. Let's take some of the one here. When you look at this apartment, great, it's now on the market for 1 month, but you can see it's advertised as 135 square meters. But the real size of the apartment, what's within the walls of the property, that's 118 square meters. So that's like what you really get. This is what you can advertise the place for. This is how much you pay taxes on, but includes like corridors outside and like entrances and so on, that again, for you, it doesn't really matter. So it's the best as possible is to have a small gap between these two as possible. So back to Boligsiden. Some of the things I look when I find, for example, a property that matches some of my criteria is that, again, how much is Eignargift is something that I should keep in mind, and I don't want to pay too much on that. Again, you can see a timeline on how much has the property been on sale for and how much it has been sold since. So this one was sold first in 2013 for almost 4 million. Now it's being put on sale for over 7. Last time it was sold was in 2017 for 5.5. And then of course, a lot of things have happened since. Nordhavn has become more popular, they have been developing, but you can actually see for all properties how much they have been again in the market for and all these type of things. So it's very useful. You can see similar apartments that have been sold in the area and for how much and how much was the square meter price. And then you can see a lot more statistics, like for example, risk for radon, and like how many people are clicking on this, meaning as a proxy for interest. And then you have a map, which is, I found it very useful. So actually not as much as if you go, there's another map here, which I think this is great. And this is something I use a lot when looking for a property, because at the end of the day, the location of the property is perhaps even the most important point. I always look for a good location that is easily accessible, is safe, has a lot of shops close by, good schools close by, good sunshine, safety, all these type of things. And in this map, you can see, for example, this is a property here. You click here and you can see, I want to see the schools and I want to see the supermarket. So here we know that we have a Netto here, we have a Lidl here. This is like a Bugestue and kindergarten. This is another shop. This is like a little playground things, so you can do a sport activity for the kids. So that's nice to have that as well. We can see like the risk for flooding in different parts of the city. So that's nice to have as well. What are the public transportation? For example, here we have like the metros here. There are some train stops there. If you move over here, where the different bus stops. So that's nice as well. And then one thing as well that is crucial that people don't appreciate it enough. In Denmark, there's not much sun, right? So for example, here you can actually see how is the sun at different parts of the year. So let's take something, for example, March, which is kind of a context. If you have this apartment here, it would basically mean that you get midday sun. Oh, sorry, here. And then, but it's not really a lot through, for example, you might get some in the morning, but the moment you want to spend some time home in the afternoon and so on, the sun is likely gone already. So normally you want, if as much as possible, to get the south facing sun or west facing sun to get the most of the sunshine. So those things that, again, you can see in these websites, and it's so transparent. You have so many options to then know whether this is the right thing for you or not. You can also calculate how much does it take you to go from one place to the other on bus or metro and so on. It's just very convenient, and it's all there. So using two websites, and the moment you find a place that you like, well, let's take this one. That's nice. You just click through, and then you click through to the real estate agent's own website. And let's look at this one. So that's 5.4 million krona. You have one bathroom, which is like a plague here that nice apartments only have one bathroom, one bedroom, one living room here. And yeah, it's a lot of money for that. But again, you can at least see the information when it was built. All this is straight from the source. And then you can hint this self stealing, which normally you need to sign up or something. But then basically this is the booklet that gives you all the information that you ever want to know about the house, on how much they spend on water, like which loans that the owner have, basically everything. And there's going to be a link down here on the top where you can actually see more about this as well, or it's going to be linked at the end of the video. But again, super useful that you check that as well. And like, yeah, how much are we talking about, the areas close by, so all these other things. So let's even now go in Boliga and filter exactly to, for example, if I would buy a new place now, let's use Boliga now. You can also use Bolixium. We're just going to show you both so you have flagged that. So I would look for something that is built after 1995, because I'm like that type of guy. I don't like, say here, Energy Mark. I want something that is like, yeah, let's leave it that for now, because normally this is good enough. I don't want from the second floor, and I want, yeah, from at least, yeah, let's go with C. And Grundstörelse, no, let's park that for now. And then I want something here that is over 130 square meters. Let's say I go pretty well on that. And that limits me to some options, but it's not a lot. And then you can see here, like, I'm okay with Rakehus, I'm okay with Villa, I'm okay with Laajalahti. Not a lot of things that match my goals here. It's a bit disappointing, especially on the Rakehus. Let's remove this Energy Mark thing for now. I think it might be screwing things up. And 100 square meters, and yeah, of course, because we don't have Rakehus, because we have the side, the floor thing there. And these are basically things that would fit some of my criteria. I am a guy who likes to be close to the city, so that would be from the options here. Oh, these are the new things over here in Papirøen, which now 120,000 for meter. That's out of my budget, guys, but it would be actually interesting to see what we're actually having here. And these have been up on sale for 8 months. They'll have to lower the price, I guess, but so shows you one bedroom, two other small bedrooms, two bathrooms, which is nice, a little balcony. But for 16 million, you can do a lot better, I would think. Nice view, but yeah, not my type of thing. But let's look at, for example, here. I live in Innsbruck, which is nice, and I like the area, but I might like some more space. I would even check a Rakehus. Well, at 17 million, not too, also super high price. The square meter price is insane. Let's take it, for example, this one. I know, not that one. Here. That is 10 million, which is, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot more reasonable for a house, Rakehus. This has been on sale for 3 months, has 5 bedrooms. Ownership expenses are quite low for the size of the property, which is nice. Top of the line Energy Mark. And yeah, the owner is trying to sell it for 3 million more than, well, actually it's fucking insane. Oh, excuse my wording, but it's pretty crazy. So let's look, and then you can see like the floor plan. You have a stue. Yeah, so basically you can see all these things. And let's now move to an apartment, because then I can show some of the ways I think about apartments as well. I like, for example, here, Porcelain's Haven. That's nice. Super expensive as well, wow. And in the Stue, which is not my cup of tea. High IO gift. But let's look at this one. So this is a place, fits actually a lot of my bills. I might actually consider this if I would have 14 million, but so basically I have entrance, 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, and a big living room. And you can see here there's almost no use of space that is wasted. You have a small entrance, and that's fine. Big living room, 2 terraces. Like, I don't know how that nice that is, but that looks nice. And you can actually see the photos in full screen. and you can see the place. It shows you there, the park close by, the different porcelain things, and overall, I mean, this looks fantastic. Yeah, kind of a bummer that you actually have to have the heaters and not floor heating. I'm a floor heating type of guy, but this looks great. So those of you who have 14 million, you could consider this, because again, like one of the benefits of having apartments versus houses in Denmark is that house fixing is so expensive that it's actually better to not have to deal with a lot of things like that. But yeah, so that's basically how I use these two websites. Let me check quickly if there's anything else in Boliga that you might want to see and share beyond the things I already shared in Boligsim. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, like I used that a lot to show the difference here. And yeah, you can see more about the different areas, what are the different schools close by, what is the school district. So a lot of things that, again, just experiment. But you can see how transparent it is and how many options that you have. Thanks for watching.